Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa has something to say with regards to what Pastor Chris Oyakhilome said about masturbation. Oyakhilome plainly said to his followers that masturbation is not a sin. It's not a sin against God. It's a sin against your own body. And this is your own body. God has nothing to do with your own body. So when you masturbate, you are simply sinning against yourself, not against God. God is not offended when you play with yourself. But let's listen to what Emmanuel Makandiwa had to say, and we can both pick his mind and get to the verdict of whether he was supporting Chris Oyakhilome or he was dismissing Chris Oyakhilome.
I remember some years back when Pastor Chris released a message on masturbation, and the message that he was sending out, it arrived and it came out in a way that masturbation was not a sin. And can I teach you something there? Do you know the people that really attacked him the most? The people that really attacked him were seasoned and expert masturbators. Professional masturbators. Full time. People who were doing it every now and then. Their heads are shaking, but they can't believe, how can a man of God talk like that? Yet they are shaking their heads. Doing it. If you were to ask God of the number of the men of God that criticized him for saying that, most of them are masturbating. Whether they are priests or they are popes or they are bishops or they are...
Just pause for a minute. Here he sounds like he's calling out preachers like Arome Osai, who came out to dismiss Chris Oyakhilome's statement in support of masturbation. He is saying that the majority of preachers and people who came out attacking Chris Oyakhilome for saying that masturbation is not a sin are literally professional masturbators. So they do not have any moral right to be attacking Chris Oyakhilome. The preachers have no right to be attacking Chris Oyakhilome for saying masturbation is not a sin. And those who are masturbating have no right to call out Chris Oyakhilome for saying that masturbation is not a sin. So what should they have done? That's probably the question we should be asking Emmanuel Makandiwa. What should other preachers have done, like Arome Osai? Should they have come out to clap hands for Pastor Chris Oyakhilome? Should they have come out to celebrate what Pastor Chris Oyakhilome said with regards to masturbation? Is that what they should have done? Even though they are doing it, or even if they are not, should they have celebrated Pastor Chris Oyakhilome's statement in support of masturbation? I want you to answer that question as you continue to listen to some of his remarks regarding the whole debacle surrounding Chris Oyakhilome's reckless utterances of masturbation being not a sin.
Instead of celebrating one man who has brought a message to deal with their condemnation, to say thank you so much for setting us free, now we know. But no, the sinner has become the one who is talking about it, not the one doing it, the one talking about it.
Just hold up a minute. So Emmanuel Makandiwa is saying, instead of celebrating a man who brought a message that deals with our condemnation of masturbation, instead of us celebrating that man and thanking him that, oh, finally, thank you, Pastor Chris, you have set us free. Now we can do it freely without fear of displeasing God. He's literally saying we should not have attacked Pastor Chris Oyakhilome. We should not have called him out. We should have celebrated him because we are professional masturbators, because we have been masturbating. But is that how the gospel should be preached? Who is Pastor Chris Oyakhilome to approve and disapprove what is and what is not sin? Everything is laid in the Bible. What right does he have to change or correct anything that best suits his own narrative or his own addiction. Because for one to promote and support something, it simply means that they are either addicted to that particular act, service, or practice, that they have failed to disconnect themselves from that addiction. So they see it now as normal. It's Chris Oyakhilome now who's justifying his own condemnation, not him trying to set anyone free. Telling you that masturbation is not a sin is not setting you free, it's setting you up. It's setting a trap for you. Because once you are glued to this addiction, you're gone, you're finished. You're completely finished. So Makandiwa is saying we should have celebrated him for setting us free. But how is it setting us free? Encouraging us to sin, to desecrate our holy temples. How is that setting us free? That is setting a trap for us right in front of us so that everyone becomes addicted. Because once you start that practice, once you get used to it, you can't stop. To those of you who know what I'm talking about, my brothers and sisters, you know it for a fact. Once you start, you are gone. You can't stop. And you know how you feel when you do it and after you do it. Before and after, you know how lost you feel, how disappointed you feel, how angry you become, how you start blaming yourself. Why did you even do it? It was not worth it. And that is what Chris Oyakhilome and Pastor Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa are saying, that it's something that should be maintained amongst believers. Just continue listening to some of his nonsense.
The question is, I'm saying, how is it when a statement is uttered, there is a reaction from the kingdom of darkness? How can one say to a disease, I heal you, and it begins to shrink? And the most humble person who knows how to beg God to heal the sick comes, and nothing happens. Why is God fighting humility? Ask yourself, why then is God fighting what? The humility. The one who is humble is supposed to be healing how many? More. Because humility, that's the nature of God. God is humble. That's what you think, right? Yes.
One thing you must know about Emmanuel Makandiwa is he mumbles a lot. His heresies are beyond your imagination. He's one of the men who once said he's more gifted than God. He once said, if you go to heaven and you don't see me there, you have gone to hell. That's how heretical Makandiwa has become. And he peddles much on these abstract descriptions of God, using all these abstract qualities to describe the nature of God. God is humble. That's what you think, right? God has humility. Why do we get so comfortable to a point whereby we can think we can just be describing God anyhow, in any other manner that we think is possible, that best suit whatever that we are trying to project to the public? We know God is holy, God is just, God is love. All these other abstract descriptions of saying God is humble, there's no way they ever says God is pride or God is humble or any of this garbage that Makandiwa constantly preach. And going back to what he recently said here, he said, why is it that when a statement is made, there is noise from the kingdom of darkness? Which kingdom of darkness? Are you talking about the people who masturbate? Them rising up, calling out Chris Oyakhilome? They might be sinners. They know they are sinners. And they know they are sinning every time they masturbate. And don't even expect them to be silent simply because a man, a self-proclaimed man of God like Chris Oyakhilome, has come up to say it's not a sin. Most people who live in sin, they know they are living in sin. Not everyone doesn't read their Bibles. Most people read their Bibles and they know even when they are committing sin that they are going offside. They don't expect you to come and justify their sins. They come to you so that you can take them back to the truth, so that you can help them live right. They don't want your encouragement. They don't want to be encouraged to keep on desecrating their holy temples. They don't want that. They just want you to preach the truth, biblical truth, the true gospel. You don't have to sugarcoat the gospel so that you can make your audience comfortable. They might be sinners, yes, but they are tired of being sinners. They want to be set free. That's why they come to you. They want to be delivered from this demon of masturbation. That's why they come to you. And when they come to you, you tell them, no, it's not a sin. It's a sin against your body, but it does not offend God. Then where should they go now? Where should they go? You think you're doing them justice, but you're just making them now lose trust in you. To say the man that we thought was going to deliver us from this demon now encourages us to keep on doing it. And if you listen to the next segment of his final statements, he was now completely off-ramping. Anything that he was saying was no longer related to the subject. Now we're talking about humility. What humility, Emmanuel Makandiwa? We're talking about the subject of masturbation, whether it's a sin or not. He did not even give a verdict or a conclusion to whether masturbation is a sin. All that he could do was to tell people that they should not judge Pastor Chris Oyakhilome simply because they are also masturbating. Where's the logic in that? Where is the gospel truth in that? So if we are to say, what is the take home from what Emmanuel Makandiwa said? What would you say? Nothing. That's how shallow and empty both Chris Oyakhilome and Emmanuel Makandiwa are. They have no sound doctrine. They just mumble around saying vague statements, saying a lot of nothings. What did he say? What's the carry home? Okay, what did you learn from what Makandiwa said? Nothing. Just garbage. Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you need better understanding of whether masturbation is a sin, whether sexual immorality is a sin, adultery is a sin, go and download the EJ Trap. That's why I wrote this particular ebook for people like Emmanuel Makandiwa. These are the people who must read this particular book first before everyone else. You likes of Emmanuel Makandiwa and Chris Oyakhilome. Because these gents are lost. They don't know what they stand for. Absolutely zero, zilch. They are in darkness and they have masses following them. If you can't count on them, then at least just give a chance to this particular ebook, The Ejaculation Trap, How Every Release Dims Your Spiritual Light. It will help you far much better than listening to Emmanuel Makandiwa and Chris Oyakhilome.